I vowed to myself that I'd never be somebody sometime, that I were to be loved in my entirety, that I were to be cherished like the last dollar to my name. And I don't know what it is about you, but I spent 3 years, 36 months, 156 weeks, that's 1,072 days of my life trying to figure it out. Why my eyes light up when I see you, why my dimples sink in when I hear your name, why I forget to breathe when you tell me you love me. And just as I began to come to a conclusion, our time together had concluded. You let me go. See, I found myself looking for reasons to make us work, and in those same moments was shown every reason to why we wouldn't. There I was, like a light switch trying to turn on a broken lamp, wasting my energy on an already dead wave. In that moment you said to me, Alexus, I deserve better. And just as much as I wanted you to be wrong, you were every bit of right that you had ever been. Time and time again, I chose to believe that the only reason you said this was to lessen the weight of our hardships. I felt like you said this to keep me there. You kept me there. And I allowed you to treat me as if I were a convenience, like the corner store to a Walmart. There I was, ready for you when you were ready for me on your time. I told myself that I'd never be that girl, that the only time I wait on a man is if he were opening my door, but instead I waited on a man to become one. I waited on a man to show me every sign to why he wasn't one. I fell for it. I didn't know any better, or maybe I did, and thought that I could be the fuel to his fire, that I'd ignite his mind and inflame his soul with my love, that I'd spark something within him that he didn't see for himself. I thought that I'd be his savior, and I was the one who needed saving. I did this too often, never learning from my mistakes. I allowed myself to be pushed to the back burner, my issues, my life to become one with the sideline story to his book. See, I wanted to think of myself with more importance. I no longer wanted to be that girl that sacrificed her sanity for the sake of another, because that's what he damn near pushed me to not have to anticipate the day when he finally grew up. I wanted to be the woman who he embraced. But he couldn't wrap his mind around the fact that silence wasn't my thing anymore. I could no longer cater to the needs of someone who can't reciprocate when need be. So when he saw that the fire has died out and the fuel has run low, when he realized that in order to be considered a man, you have to act as one, he realized why I couldn't be his sometime, his comfort call, his last resort. I couldn't force him to become a man.
You can't force him to become, but I mean, why should you have to? Man was given his title to act as such, so for you to have to do so much as to beg for yourself to be treated with dignity and respect that was given to you when God made you, then forget him. Because believe me, my sister, I understand that these boys nowadays are hard to stand, because it's become acceptable and grand for a woman to be mistreated, that he has the right to beat her when angry and cheat to his heart's desire, leaving you up at night hardly able to sleep, being forced to look up through this glass ceiling at the respect that you should be given anyway, while you curl up and take it, thinking that one day it'll all be okay, that he will finally grow up, and that his way of thinking will switch, and that this man will realize that there is no circumstances that he can call that girl out of her name, because you deserve better. I always make it my business to tell my older sister that she doesn't deserve anybody that won't treat you as good as I will. Tell them that these fools can flex about being the hardest in the trail, but you need a man that's gonna be real when it's time to pay the bills. So that's why I'm glad to hear you out here preaching to these fools that they got the game messed up. And it's good to hear, because there's too many women out here having their status stripped of them and being pitted against the person in the mirror because she's sitting here being cheated out of the proper treatment that she deserves, that she's entitled to. Nah, she settled for less instead of more. Don't hold your breath waiting for him to open that door, because he'll sit there and watch you suffocate and freeze to your core without giving you so much as a hug to keep you warm. Because you see, if his boy is seeing his pride is killed, because, hey, yo, my boy over there is whipped, his manliness stripped, all just because he opened the door for some chick. And that may not always be the case, but these fools sure as hell acting like it. Fellas nowadays claiming that they love women but refuse to love women, said that they are gay and their sexuality set, and that everything that you need will be met, but they won't lift a finger with the waiter brings them that check. You see, woman was made from man. You have his rib, so you shouldn't have to cook his food, put him in his high chair and fasten his bib, because instead of a man, you got a kid. You see, you don't see the tire driving the car, the fish telling the tire to move, the arm telling the brain what to do, or the earth being dictated by the moon. You can't force him to be a man. Just understand that you deserve better, if not the best, because you decided to hold yourself above the rest, that people see a side of you other than just your chest. When you said, I'm not going to be any less than what God made me to be, that's when you set yourself apart. So you shouldn't have to beg for that boy to show his heart, because he made out of tin, no bite and all bark. You deserve the best, and I promise that so long as you continue to carry yourself like this, that a man will come to your side and you guys will ride off into the sunset victorious because, well, you can't force him to be a man. That don't mean you gotta settle for less than one.